keeping track with all the crazy chances, just permutations, everything of pools. This one is actually relatively simple. Reciprocity and Sage in a qualification match. Winner finishes second, loser finishes third.
It's beautiful. I love it when it plays out like this. Who cares about the map count? Well, just a team that gets the number 3 on board. Nice and straightforward, nice and simple. And Reciprocity, well, they need the win. You need Dylan to perform. And right now, 95 off streaks off the opening break.
And it was an interesting series late last night against Team Envious. They took it in 5. He was wrecking a tough spot, but so far, so good. Zed with a double as well. P1 completely dominated by the Europeans.
Doing pretty well on the rotation, though. Wuskins is the lone man by himself waiting for his teammates, and, well, he gets cut down in very quick order. So Sage able to stabilize just a little bit, get the back spawns, get control of the hill, and honestly, more importantly for them, they are pushed up very far in barrels. Rex able to get that first entry kill, actually gets the second beatdown. Vivid does his job. He's watching Church, and that is a very strong hold. First push from Reciprocity gets stuffed.
It does. And Sage, of course, controlling the spawns for now, but Reciprocity are going to try and flood the backside. And Rex is currently in no man's land. He should realize it very soon. But Rex tried to play for the backside, and well, Rex broken straight through. So despite a good initial hold, Sage maybe mismanaging the spawns or not getting the correct information they needed in time, allow Reciprocity to break the hill.
Yeah, Rex just had a really nice flood coming through the side church door to get the timing, but not the worst news in the world for Sage, because it means they get time to get the full setup. They got a man pushed up checkers, but there are 3 Reciprocity players going to hunt him down, so he's turning and running. That is all hands on deck. You see Zed is going to fall, so Reciprocity should be spawning out, which means Sage, well, they'll be safe for when they die. Unfortunately for them, all 3 do, so they're spawning P1. The man in the back needs to stay alive, and for Dylan, he needs to get these streaks 200 off, now just 100, and you have to imagine, he's in the back. It should be easy for Dylan to find a cleanup kill, and it looks like it's right in front of him. Takes down Vivid, gets the lightning strike, and well, zero hesitation, at least for the ping. Looking for another kill just to get the Hellstorm.
Yeah, I love that. Recognize. Let me just get the ping, get the information. We'll get another wave of kills and go from there. There's the Hellstorm. He also earns the grab slam. Teammates there to support. This is the Dylan, which is pretty scary, to be honest with you, Chance.
I mean, this is the Dylan that when you're on the opposite side of things, you're going to like, oh God, this is what like everyone's been talking about. How do you deal with this? The man just is randomly a massacre, stylizing the grab slam kills. Admittedly though, only gets 1, so Sage again.
I'll give him an 8.
They aren't mad at that. 8 out of 10?
Yeah,
you're a Russian judge. I'll give him a 9.
That was pretty entertaining from Dylan. There's still 2 streaks to go. Ends now. It's time to push inside the hill, but Reciprocity doing what they've done so well in the past few events, just lay out, apply the pressure. However, Sage do get 4 down, and what's going to leave Zed with a whole lot of work to do, but he's no stranger to pulling off miracles every now and then. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do so here. Back over to Dylan's POV. Go for 2 streaks. Hasn't invested them just yet, and with 33 seconds left, honestly, if Sage hold this entire time, Chance, they can be back into this game.
Well, we said the exact same thing about P2, where they just need the hold hollow. It's a nice looking feed, but one of those is a team kill, and Reciprocity are able to break through and actually hold on. It comes down to a virtual 1v2. Dylan's the last man there, and Dylan, luckily for the side of Sage, does get traded out. It's rare that he does. Normally the untradeable, but Sage, decent chunk of time on barrels. Now they got to get the break and start fighting through some of these score streaks.
This on rotation is going to have 2 in front of him. The first one full. Unfortunately for him, Rex jumps over the pre-fire. Rex actually gets himself a double for his efforts. So far, so good for Sage as we head into the second rotation of hills. It would have been nice if Rex could have strung together a few more kills, maybe work towards some streaks. And speaking of streaks, Dylan goes straight for the lightning strike. It finds 1. But it should give an opening now for Reciprocity to try and break the hill.
And it's just clean and perfect, nice and simple. Get the lightning strike, clear out outer. You can flood up the side. Everyone's going to be in mid steps. Everyone's going to be inside the hill, and it makes it a little bit easier on yourselves. And of course, the split spawns are coming in. So you see Reciprocity, the arrow's starting to turn to watch it, but Denz is actually going to fall. So Sage should be good for the break. Final 20 seconds maybe to go their way, but they have to win the gunfights. Dylan's still alive.
It's a problem. Always a big problem. Of course, he still has that Hellstorm. Not necessarily need to invest it yet. May consider it if he gets a few more kills, just simply because he might overlap the streak, if nothing else. love to see him invest it over towards the fountain rotation. As it stands, it is still a close game. As Zed said, well, I'm close to some streaks. Let me pull out the War Machine. 5 points will do it. If he can clear out the hill and hop it, he'll get the points, or if he just finds the kill with the War Machine. And of course, him getting streaks means Dylan can invest his. Try and spiral this game completely out of control.
And call me crazy, but I think Zed actually got the EKIA off of the Hellstorm from Dylan. They got called in, so use some streaks, not just to break the hill, but to get more for later on. The Flood is in, though, but Dylan able to find 2. He doesn't quite get the 3rd. And it looks like Sage are going to be fighting hard for this final bit of time, but the Sogs right now for Reciprocity, well, they got 3 of them, and those 3 have been fierce to deal with.
Look at the stats. Dylan is 22-10. You've got a 15-10 Zed, a 15-10 Wuskin. Alex is 15-12. It's just Dens who's banging out, doing his job, right? Controlling the spawns, rotating a little earlier than everybody else.
He's just calling out.
Yeah.
Telling his teammates where the kills are.
All he needs to do. 7-12. As it stands, though. Reciprocity about to develop a 100-point lead. It all rotates. There's no one on it just yet, but it's Reciprocity with control of the spawns. And as I mentioned, there's 2 streaks available to use. So even if this does get broken, still be expecting to see the streaks come through with saving grace. And just like that, Zed's going to call the Hellstorm.
And the Hellstorm should just end up killing the players back alley, and it looks like only 1 man was there. Vivid is going to fall. So, I mean, the good news for Sage is, yeah, you at least burned one of the score streaks. The bad news is this has been 40 seconds. It's looking like by the end of it, that's going to go the way of Reciprocity, continuing to expand on their lead. You got Alex in the feed, and yes, Vivid is able to find 2 and shuts them down, but still the rotation and next over towards Barrels. Dylan's one of the first men here, and he's got to grab himself, but frankly, I want to see the style. Go for the full 360 this time.
Well, let's see. Of course, as you mentioned, Vivid used his, so not going to get too much from it. There's a couple of players starting to stack. Dylan might be thinking about it. No fancy 360s this time, but he does get the double kill. Teammates there to trade. Zed goes back into the hill. However, Sage reinforcements are on their way. Not that that's going to stop Zed, but it will eventually as Hollow pulls out the War Machine. 3 for him. Sage break it.
Just a perfect break. Can't ask for anything more. Barrels hill that Sage has had the most success on, maybe once again, and now, of course, just 160 off some streaks, which, by the looks of it, he's gonna need, right? You're down by 70 points now. When you get the final 20, you're down by about 35, which isn't the worst, but Reciprocity on pretty much every single hill has had an advantage, and they still have that lightning strike, so you need some yourself. I love this play, though, from Sage. They go for an early rotation, but that can't happen. Alex shooting at one of Hollow's teammates, and well, Hollow goes for the easy challenge and falls. Zed will use a lightning strike. It's going to find 1. That's Gravity. That's the final streak available for Reciprocity. It's going to aid them get some early points here on a final rotation. First hill, of course. Rec, if they were to hold the entire time, no contest, could win. However, looks pretty unlikely. It's never over on C-side, but I think Hollow not getting those score streaks might have been a bit of a dagger. Vivid, though, was able to find 2 kills, but the trades are back and forth. I mean, Sage, they're spawning on the correct side for the moment. They got a little bit of hill control. They just need an answer for the Sogs. Dylan, of course, leading the lobby, 28 kills. No one else is anywhere near him. And, of course, you got 3 players for Rec with 20-plus kills. No one yet for Sage has broken that mark.
Kept it close, though. Kept it very close. And honestly, if they get this 20-second scrap time, it'll be even closer. We'll put it within 15 points. As I say that, though, Dylan challenges, and Dens will claim the prize of the scrap time. Pressure on. In terms of the rotations, Reciprocity already there with some spawn control. Sage have to win the following gunfights. These are crucial to making this comeback.
Got to get past Zed, and Zed's going to pull out the War Machine just to slow them down, but he gets too many hit markers and gets chopped. The opening is there through Dark. Players trying to make it through. You see Rex is still just barely alive, but Dens chops him down, and now Gravity is by himself. He has to wait for his teammates to make a play.
Mike's still in control. Needs 15 more points, and gonna go. Now's the time to do it. Finally, the push comes through. Of course, you wait for that vision pulse. It doesn't really have a massive effect for Reciprocity because they know they can just rotate here, chance. They can give up this 25 seconds.
ESports while Sage had to use their Vision Pulse just to break. Well, they got a hold on as well. I was going to say, as soon as you get 3 down, Dens pops into Vision himself. You storm right through, and just like that, Sage, well, they can't rotate. They got a flood, but with the Vision Pulse, Alex knows what the deal is. Pre-aims the back. He's got the help inside the hill, and, well, he's got streaks that he simply doesn't need. Reciprocity with a limited time close game, but still mostly dominant. 251-86 win.
They close it out. They put themselves 2 maps away now from championship bracket. Of course, Sage down and not out, and it was a close game 1, to be fair. By no means was that a blowout. Sage played it pretty well up until really the very last rotation.
And they just got bullied out, I think, a little bit at the start. Like, they had a lot of success on Barrel's Hill, but there was a couple moments, right, where like Hollow, he's 185 off streaks. He gets oh so close, and it comes down to a 1v1 where he didn't really have the bait. Like, yes, he had players sliding across like back church, but then he just took a 50-50 gunfight, which when you're playing for streaks that you need, it can be punishing. So a couple little things didn't go right. Also, Dylan dropped 30-some-odd kills. And every single SOG on Reciprocity outslayed every single player on the side of Sage. So it was a SOG battle.
Yeah, definitely was. Well, Reciprocity looking good on the day. Still a lot of action, though, needs to come through. We'll have a just refresher of the groups and how things currently stand. I mean, there's a look at Group A. That was the heartbreaking news for Celtic FC, losing a 3-way tie due to not winning a map extra. Tough scenes for them, but it's Unite and Elevate that progress through from Group A. Group B, a little more standard, I guess, if you will. E6 Team War go through. The upset is a 0-3 Gen G. Only win 2 maps here at the World Championship. Of course, for Group C, that one was over yesterday, and it was relatively simple. Phase and units progress through. Group D, this is where we're at. Team Envy will take the #1 seed. It's just who joins them in second. Will it be Reciprocity or will it be Sage? It's as simple as whoever wins the series goes through.
And they get the 2nd seed as well. Just to make it even simple, there's not even a seed controversy. Envy's got the wins over both of those teams. So Envy, congrats, obviously. They're locking up the 1st seed. They're just playing against Legend just to figure out what their final map count's going to be. But for us, I mean, this is it. Back against the wall. Reciprocity, if they falter, massive failure for a caliber of a team that they're at. And then for Sage, this is the opportunity. This is the chance you get to upset a big-name team and potentially set yourselves up to make a little bit of a run and make a ton of money.
You went into yesterday, you were maybe a little worried for some of the Pro League teams. Elevate scrapes through by the skin of their teeth. Gen G, of course, a major casualty. Here's a look at the other 4 groups. Things still to come later on today. Who will go through in Group H? Will Heretics manage to join Splice? Of course, Group G, that one, EG and OG dominated, but the fight for #1 seed, that'll be the final game of the day on Alpha. For Group F, 100 Thieves, they've done a great job. It's how will Midnight somehow go through? And the problem for Midnight is they actually play 100 Thieves. So a lot of crazy chances there in Group F. And for Group E, LG, that one by no means ever. We'll be covering, I believe it's the Singularity or UYU game following this.
Correct.
And that's pretty important implications for LG and their chances, because any UYU win will see them knock LG out.
Yeah, it's actually fairly straightforward for that. UYU wins, they go through, and then there could be a 3-way tie at 2-1 or 1-2. Either way, UYU comes out on top of the tiebreakers when it goes against LG. So UYU, they're just playing for the win. LG have to make sure they beat Vanity, which admittedly we're expecting them to do.
It's a 0-6 Vanity, yeah.
And they're just crossing their fingers, hoping UYU gets knocked out. But I will say, that is quite a fair number of Pro League teams that aren't going to be making it through, and a couple more that are like on the bubble. Surprisingly so.
More so on the bubble, I would say, right? I mean, you look at Heretics, that's no guarantee.
Midnight's on the bubble.
They have to play 100 Thieves.
Either UYU or LG not making it through. Gen G's already done, taken care of.
I guess, yeah, more than expected, right?
Quite a few.
And honestly, to go back to the point about Celtic and Elevate almost didn't go through either.
Oh,
that was
we missed the S&D tiebreaker by a map.
By a map?
I think if Celtic, excuse me, had gotten one more map against United, which I know it's like the outside team that moves their map count to 5 and 7. So if they had taken one more map off of the outside team, we would have had the S&D tiebreaker.
Yikes. I think that's what JP tweeted that, right?
If he tweeted that out, it's because I told him.
Okay.
No, I'm not even kidding. I was just sitting back there. That's happened a couple times this year where I'm talking to JP about something. He's like, yo, that's a good tweet. 30 seconds later, he types it out. I'm like, come on, man.
We're
like,
absolutely robbed. But back here to the action on Bravo. As it stands, Reciprocity versus Sage. Rec 1-0 up. I think we both expect Reciprocity to win this series, if we're just being honest. But you never know. You never know with how some of these results have come so far this event. And honestly, one of the big ones in this group was Envy with that late win Game 5 against Reciprocity last night.
Yeah, and you got to think about like the potential that Sage has kind of shown, right? Like they were the team that pulled off the full cell comeback against Envy on frequency, search and destroy. And again, you had Vivid, I think it was, that went on a 17 kill streak, had like 24 EKIA. So like basically setting records, or at least tying records. I think he got 20 kills in the end.
That was on
5v5 versus 4v4.
right?
It was on frequency. So payload, a little bit different, but we know this team has potential. It's just about not tilting, being able to go against an opponent expected to be better.
So that's interesting. I know you came down here to the Passion Pit a little early. You were kind of watching some of the games. I was actually upstairs speaking to Enable and Octane from 100 Thieves, and they were talking about when a professional team plays one of the, I don't want to say the word amateur, but you know, one of the newer teams, up-and-coming teams, whatever you want to call them, semi-pro,
amateur,
the lower seeded teams, right? The easiest way to win that series is to thump them in Game 1. Because what happened when 100 Thieves played one of their games was, they said, it was against Teddy Rex and Co. They were just consistently talking about Game 1. The map 2 was loading and they were still talking about Game 1. And one of the biggest differences is the short-term memory. If a professional team loses Game 1, some of them don't even talk about it. They wait till after the series to talk about it, and they will already start the conversation about the search and destroy. So for me, your point about making sure you don't fully tilt and lose a little bit of composure is massive for Sage, and this search and destroy could bring him back into the series.
Search and destroy they absolutely are going to need. I don't think Reciprocity is going to allow a team to reverse sweep. And of course, this is one of those audio clips you play right before it happens when you go to edit whatever montage. But you got a 2v2, but Vivid gets caught out. It comes down to Hollow up top with the Sog, and he's got two players right in front of him. And those two players are able to get the team shots off to shut them down. Reciprocity first round on board.
Also thinking about it, big picture, there's a very real chance that you could have Reciprocity versus FaZe when it's round 1. Battle of the Twins. That's something to stay tuned for. Of course, it depends on the FaZe game and the result of that.
So yeah, they'll get the winner of FaZe and Units, and then Envy gets the loser of FaZe and Units.
Yep. So if Rec finish second in the group, which of course if they win this they will, they'll play FaZe, who take the #1 spot, assuming they beat Units.
That's a ferocious Game 1.
Yes, it's not easy, and especially when you consider the fact that their brothers involved there. Spicy one. But that's thinking a little in the kind of future. We'll stay with the present. It's the current 2v2. Make that a 2v1. All comes down to Dens. I've praised him heavily for search and destroy and just his consistency throughout this event so far, but there's a chance to put Rec 2-0 up. Big confidence boost as well.
Of course, both players know exactly where he is. He does not have the bomb. It looks like Cells and Rex are going to rotate out, and Dens is actually here, maybe a little bit too late, though. Those players come through the door and split up just enough that the double challenge is nice and easy, and Cells, I think, picked up at least 3 that round, if not more. We'll be able to take a look at least a portion of that in the best play. I think Wuskins slides out and tries to camera him, and well, you see why Wuskins was going for the challenge. It was to control this outer area, because as soon as he gives that up, Cells has a very easy picking on his end.
Yep. Really nothing Reciprocity could do outside of the Dens 1v2 clutch. As soon as they lose control of outskirts, now never really looked as if it was winnable. Now heading into round 3. Back over to the attack for Sage. And just looking at the mid-map, they smash into A or they head on over towards B. So far, undecided. They haven't got much information, to be fair. The only information they have is, well, there's no one in tunnels.
Now everyone's out of tunnels, and Nade's going to back a couple players down, but either they had flak jacket on or were just far enough away. So First Blood comes in, but now it's all about the trades, and you see they had 3 men going forward. This next challenge was a double challenge where Vivid didn't even need the help. Overwhelming pressure from the side of Sage right there, and honestly, I'll give them credit. They just, it took a play out of the playbook of some of the pro teams. They set up the triangle, Ben.
The triangle? We love the triangle. We've talked about it a fair few times, but for those of them that don't know what we're talking about, Chance? Do you want to elaborate on the triangle?
It's you go for that mid-tunnel connector control. You're coming through blue, and of course you're on offense for it. You get 2 men out the door, and they play either corner, one in the left, one in the right, and one guy stands in the doorway. That way you can cover people flooding from the left tunnel, flooding from the right tunnel, and you got one guy in the middle to help out with either of those things. You set up the trap, and of course, they didn't need to, because Reciprocity didn't come through connector, but then you got 3 guys inside. You flood out over towards, honestly, either bomb site. They chose A, and you overwhelm the opponent. Very successful, and of course, we got Scraps watching the game too.
I'm going to say shout out to Scraps being nosy. Want to watch his brother play. Just affects the graphics. Thanks, Scraps. We appreciate you. This one. Advantage is for Reciprocity, and Zed's going to make sure that stays true. 2 life advantage. As finally Scraps decides his time is up. Pops out. Right, look to try and tie things up at 2-2. Gravity and Cells still up for Sage. Wuskin and Zed joined by Dens. In this 3v2, and that's a great fight to win for Cells. Didn't think he was going to be able to do it. And Dens is tagged up too. This is a winnable round now.
So just trying to stay alive, and more important than stay alive, how about just get the kill, and that should pretty much seal the deal of the round. Cells is going out to make a play, but he's actually just over top of Wuskins, and well, Wuskins shuts him down very quickly. It was honestly just a nice setup coming from Reciprocity in the 3v2. Yes, Cells makes a nice play to shut down Zed, but there just wasn't a ton of time on the clock. And there's a lot of map control that Sage did not have that they had to make up for, and there's the best play, Zed getting a kill, and what a plant spot. What a guy.
Good stuff from Rec. Oh, we've got to keep the ball rolling. Sage have shown they can be dangerous here in the Search and Destroy, and just in Search and Destroy in general. You obviously mentioned the Sage MV Search and Destroy. Remember, he was 5-0 up before conceding 6 rounds in a row. So you're never safe if you're Reciprocity.
Never safe at all, but of course we saw the triangle set up last time from Sage. This time it's just mostly full force over towards the A site. They got 4 bodies there, 1 man to watch the flank, but 2 players coming through connector. Hollow gets the call out, but the call out came a little bit too late. Reaction time not quite there, and Vivid for the 1v whatever. He is gonna fall in short order. And the funny part about that round is, if they did the triangle,
would have worked perfectly.
Might have had success with it.
Would have worked out perfectly. And a couple of Reciprocity players just fly through the tunnel, but Dylan with the best play. Or some assistance from his teammates needed and required to clutch up.
And it really did just seem like a slow call out from the player that was in blue watching the cross, right? Because we saw Hollow's perspective by the time he slid out and knew the players were behind him. One guy's already just up in his face, and it seemed like maybe just a little bit of the timing not going the way of Sage, but Wrecker happy for it.
Try and push the outskirts. Well, Alex almost bringing his fist to a gunfight. Doesn't matter, still won it. 1-man advantage now for Reciprocity. 60 seconds on the clock. They're on the attacking side though. The A side, they feel too comfortable about maybe trying to put the bomb down. Instead they try and push through tunnels. B's wide open. The 2v1. Bomb should go down. Cells with a lot of work to do here.
Cells does have an ICR. He can wallbang the side if he's quick enough, but the player gets the bomb down just before he gets out. But Cells saw that they ran off to the right. So now he has the chance to make a play. The problem is the ICR, you have to be a little bit slow, and he gets spotted. 1v2.
Time ticking. Spots Zed again. Zed spots him though. It's just an information round where really Reciprocity played it very well. They force a 2v1 tunnels, they plant the bomb, they play for the info of where the last man is and just rotate, make sure they have the exact right time to challenge and win the round.
Yeah, and it's just very simple but very strong decision making. Maybe they could have been like a little bit faster, but even then they had a guy in connector. It takes them a couple seconds. They're like, oh yeah, I guess we could just go kill him. Yeah, that's cool. Let's go do that. And so get the nice double challenge to come in, and fairly simple stuff at the end as well. Just solid search and destroy gameplay from the pro team.
Dens 375 away from streaks. Let's see if he's able to try and secure those. Good performances out of a fair few players here for Rec. 6-3 is Wuskin, 7-4 is Zed, 5-3 is Dens, and well, Zed's going to find another one. Look at that 8-4, double positive now as he trades out the first blood. 4v4. Zed 300 off streaks as well.
course, Sage has been very content and comfortable going towards the A site, but now they don't get that mid-tunnel control, so they're slow wrapping it over towards B. Dens, though, was going to spot everybody, but having control is the way of Sage, and yeah, I was going to say, Dens can't get the power position. He's forced to back down. So Sage, the positioning is here, but they can't really get the bomb planted.
And if they push through, Reciprocity is ready and waiting. Zed's been so patient here. He has a teammate with him. And should Sage over-challenge, Zed might be able to try and cherry-pick a couple of kills here, earn some streaks. Of course, best-case scenario, really, for Rec, with Dens and Zed still alive, is actually they plant the bomb. Maybe the extra points for the defuse. Obviously, you have to still win the round, but with Wuskin hitting the flank, that's going to be a big distraction. And Zed finally, after being so patient, finds the first, tags up the second. Still, though, a 2v2. Nade out. That may be able to do enough damage. No, doesn't do so. 200 points, all he needs.
And Wuskin's got caught through the mid-tunnels. You see Zed's going to get caught in the side door, and just like that, they know exactly where Dens is. They know exactly where he can come from, and, well, players are just going to sit there and wait for him and give him the beat down. And I will say, Reciprocity, I mean, they had a nice setup for the 4v4. Zed incredibly patient, and it ends up panning out for that first initial kill. And then every single player just started to fall around him. Wuskin gets good timing. Gravity just wins a nice gunfight. And of course, he turns it into the second as well.
Well played from Gravity there around, which honestly looked as if it was going to be amazing for Reciprocity. Ends up going in the way of Sage, so good stuff from them. Still Reciprocity with the advantage in the map, 4-3 the lead. Go back onto the attack. Looks as if they're just going to fast push over towards me.
We might see another look at the triangle. Yeah, you see the vague idea for the setup to get 3 men. Now we're watching it from Zed's perspective. The triple challenge coming in, and Zed gets the final couple bullets. You have the man advantage, but I will say, Sage, there are a couple players maybe going on the fast flank.
And the reason that's so strong, of course, is how hard it is to actually trade out the team doing the triangle. We've seen a lot of pro teams do it. Just you so rightfully dubbed it the triangle. That's exactly what it is, 4-2 in terms of lives, and Dens gets a double, round over. Right, one more need and they go 2-0 up.
Yeah, there was maybe a moment, again, there's no reason to do it as a player, but if they just sprinted on the flank and committed, maybe the timing could have gone their way, but it's not a smart thing just to sprint with no information, so the round really was just won when you get the man advantage off the opening break. And again, it's just a nice setup coming in where the Sogs from Reciprocity, we saw in map number 1, a little bit of map number 2, just putting in work. Zed, 11-5, leading the lobby.
Playing very well indeed. Getting actually very close to his war machine. Not that may even need it, but you never know. Of course, Sage back on the attack. It's their turn at watching tunnels. Dylan watch the player strafe to his left, so he has at least a little bit of information. Number 9 on the mini-map, that's Dens. Playing so deep right at the back of the map. Rotation has come through. They've read it correctly. Now it's just about finding the kills.
I was going to say, Dens is giving his team almost no information, so by the time they wrap back, it is full control way of Sage, and Sage has been successful in this spot once before. It's roughly the exact same setup. Zed's in the same spot. Players can shoulder peek for days, and Reciprocity, no one's even flanking. They're all wrapping back to hit it from the same side.
Down to try and find favorable gunfights while Dylan opens things up with the first blood. Now Reciprocity want to try and fly through. Wuskin has fallen. However, Dylan's found his second. Still a one-man advantage for Reciprocity. 2 players over towards tunnel. The double challenge. Dylan's got himself another 2. He's looking for the ace. He knows exactly where the last man is. It's about now covering Dens. Dylan with the ace. Dylan with the defuse. You want to see the man pop off? Well, you get it there for Reciprocity to go 2-0 up.
Tough scenes from the side of Sage. You talked about, oh man, the Sogs for Reciprocity. Well, actually, not really. It's just Zed, right? 11-5. Yeah, Dylan says, hold my controller. Or not even. He took his controller into his own hands and just goes and get all 5. And honestly, just makes it look a little bit too easy as well. Players seemingly didn't even really shoot back.
I mean, there's 2. Jumps in. Teammate with him as bait. Gets the information. There's number 3. There's number 4. And of course, number 5 up top as well as Dens is defusing the bomb. Has to shoot Dens. Easy kill for Dylan. An ace from the European superstar. and an ace, which of course means Reciprocity now sit 2-0 up.
And again, this is the series that decides who makes it to bracket play, who locks up that second seed. So Sage, they absolutely have their work cut out for them. They need the reverse sweep, and they got to do it against a SOG trio at this point, depending on the maps we're playing that, I don't know. I've just been running these games for Reciprocity.
Yeah, most definitely have.